This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, David, and today's game will be pitting the team of Benchwarmer Scott, an assistant coach for our Patreon team, Adam Speas, against Benchwarmer Josh, an equipment manager for our Patreon team, Ian Hollenberg. Let's start with Adam and Scott. Adam, I guess it's been a while since you've been on, so why don't you take a minute and to remind us where you're from, what teams you root for, what other trivia podcasts you might host, and anything else you want to talk about.
What a good segue. Yes, that's exactly. I do that. Hey, thank you guys for having me back on the show. I am Adam Speas. I am one half of the Throwback Trivia Takedown podcast, as well as the Blast from Our Past podcast, as well as the Cartwright of Seinfeld podcast. I love the podcasts. It's what I do. And I love Scott. I'm so glad I actually get to be on his team this time. Besides that, I root for, first and foremost, the Georgia Bulldogs. Go Dogs. I root for the Philadelphia Flyers, and I root for the Atlanta Braves.
Nice. Good stuff. All right, well, we'll see if you still like Scott when this is over today. Scott, why don't you tell us how you're doing? And if you could share your team name with Adam.
I'm doing well. I just officially yesterday joined a new kickball team for the fall season. So cat's out of the bag to my existing team. I have to let them know soon. But I'm good. I'm excited to like Adam said, to team together. Typically, I don't win things that he hosts. So hopefully I can win something with him on my team. But yeah, we'll say it again at the end. But if you're listening to this and for some reason you don't listen to Throwback Trivia Takedown or Blast from Our Past, please go do so. Adam and John do a great job. I've been on both shows. Marcus has been on both shows. Eric, Dan, Josh have been on Throwback Trivia Takedown. So there's a lot of cross-representation. So we're always a friend of the podcast, and we're excited to play tonight. Speaking of, Adam and I have been on many podcasts together. We've counted down things together. We've counted down one-hit wonders. We've counted down crushes. And so it turns out that we both have the same crush from the 2000s. Our number one was the same. And so I felt like our team name had to represent that. So tonight we're going to be We Heart Jessica Alba.
Scott, do you want to tell them that you had a picture of her like on your ceiling above your bed?
Oh, that's not good.
It was her Rolling Stone magazine cover. It was on my ceiling in high school because I wanted to fall asleep looking at her. That's it.
Okay. Wait, and Scott, I just have to ask you, recreational kickball, it's a free agent sport. You can be recruited away from your team and go.
Absolutely.
And you can join any team you want.
Man. No, you have to be invited to join a different team. So I had been interviewing with multiple team captains over the past few weeks, and I made my decision yesterday. Decision, you may call it.
Taking your talents.
That's right. You'll be taking your talents to
taking my talents to the team called Kick in a Box.
Nice. It's a good name. Awesome. All right. Well, let's go to the other team. Ian, welcome back to the bench. It's been a while since you've been on. I think last time you were on, I wasn't even on the bench yet. So why don't you take a minute to remind us where you're from and what team you root for and any other updates on your life?
Yeah. Thank you for having me back. This is my sixth time on the podcast. This is my third time as a player. I am 0-2, so I'm still looking for that first win. I've also hosted 3 times, but I haven't been on since July of last year. So it's been a while. Nice to be back. I live in New York City. I switched jobs since I was last on the podcast. I left the consulting world, and now I'm a data scientist at an advertising agency. I'm still in New York, still a fan of the same teams, the Mets, the Giants, the Knicks, the Rangers, Syracuse, my alma mater, NYU, go Violets. And also, I just finished up my inaugural kickball season, and it wasn't a great season. We went 2-4. We didn't make the playoffs, and I am exploring options for next season and beyond.
Well, if you want to take your talents to LA, then you could meet up with playing Scott's League.
Yeah.
Man, you got to join a league like mine where every team gets a trophy and makes the playoffs. We went 0-8 and still made the playoffs this season.
Wow.
That's the difference between LA teams and LA leagues and New York leagues, I think.
Participation trophies versus you got to earn it trophies. Is that
right? Exactly.
I wanted to earn it. They said every team make the playoffs, and I said we don't deserve to.
Yeah.
I said I don't even want our team to play in the playoff game because that's not fair.
Yeah, we finished 8 out of 10, and they said at the end of the last week, either 6 or 8 teams make the playoffs. We'll get back to you. And then they just never got back to us. So the implication was only 6 teams made the playoffs. But they never actually formally told us that we didn't make the playoffs. But it's been 2 weeks since the last game. So I message received.
All right. Josh, why don't you tell us how you're doing tonight, and a team name for you and Ian would be great.
Yeah, I'm doing well. I can start doing some Tuesday recordings because I hadn't been able to for a long time because I'm in a new place where I have my own area away from people who might be sleeping at some point while we're recording. So, hey, that's cool. And I feel kind of at home because I have now, I know this is audio we're talking about, but those of you on the recording here, you can see I have all my nerd cred stuff behind me. So, Adam, if you're ever looking for somebody to be on Blasphemer Past, I've got a bunch of old nerdy cred here, I think.
Okay.
So
Done.
Just saying.
Awesome.
I sports nerd, the old 80s cartoons nerd. But no, yeah, things are good. I'm feeling almost settled into the new place. Still about half our stuff is in boxes, but we'll get around to, we have all our toothbrushes and everything unpacked. So we have some of the, most of the necessities. But anyway, Ian's in my team name since we had a player who we both enjoyed very much play for the Minnesota Twins and the New York Mets. And I think we're in agreement that we believe that Johan Santana should be a Hofer. An HOFer. And for those of you, if you're still confused, that would be a Hall of Famer.
Sounds good. I'm just going to screw this up at some point. I'm going to say We Heart Johan Santana or Jessica Alba should be a Hall of Famer. Which probably
I think all of those are facts.
Sure.
So
all right, let's get this going. Let's kick it over to Dan for the rules.
We'll be starting off with the coin flip question to warm up the teams. This will be followed by 4 quarters of play, each with a different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions pertaining to sports. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from their points accumulated to see your today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
All right. Since we have 2 guests tonight, I'm not really sure how I could flip a coin, or maybe we should do this in honor of Adam. We should do this throwback trivia style. So
yeah,
I want you to both tell me your favorite bench warmer. No, maybe we should just.
Oh, no, let me go.
We all know Scott.
I think I'm going. Well, but then I get to vote on what's the right answer, right? So I'm not going to take that. All right, I'm going to flip a coin. So let's have Adam. Why don't you call it in the air? It's in the air.
Tails never fails. Tails.
And it is tails. So you can either take the coin flip or you can defer to. No, we'll give you the coin flip question.
Yeah. Say deferring does nothing for us.
That's absolutely correct. Well,
50,
if you think they're going to mess it up. All right. Which has happened more frequently? A Major League Baseball player has hit 4 or more home runs in a game, or an NFL player has had 5 or more touchdowns in a game?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like it would be close.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the last 5 touchdown game, and I am struggling to even remember that. I think that 4 homer games might be a little bit more frequent. I just can't remember the last one. I know there were a ton in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it does. If you go what you want, I probably would go the NFL side of things. I think with the quarterbacks, I feel like it hits a little bit more likely. But it's a coin toss. Exactly. It's we got a 50-50 to go for a 50-50. So it really doesn't matter.
If we're including QBs, I was thinking.
Is it? Yeah.
Non-quarterbacks.
I assume throwing touchdowns counts.
No, this is scoring touchdowns. I'm sorry. I should have been more specific.
That's what I figured.
Well, damn you, David.
That's the thing. If this is throwing touchdowns, that was last season.
All right. Yeah. Okay, then.
Adam, have you been peeking in on our internal chats? Because damn you, David seems to come up quite a bit.
That's right.
Chats. So.
I don't know if that changes what you think.
It probably would,
because this is this is going to be 5 rushing.
Yeah, receiving and rushing is much more difficult to get.
5 is a lot with the way they spread the ball around now.
Yeah.
Different receivers and running backs by committee. I feel like it's
let's go MLB.
All right, we're gonna go 4 homer MLB games. Checked in.
Okay, so 5 touchdowns or more scoring has happened 16 times. Most recently, actually, just last year by Jonathan Taylor. 4 home run games have happened 18 times.
Hey.
So points to you guys. Most recently, actually, by JD Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. So it's been more recent. I don't know, the way things are going, I'm not completely convinced that the 5 touchdowns is going to pass the 4 home runs at some point. But as of right now, 10 points. 10 points for Jessica Alba, or We Heart Jessica Alba. See, I almost did it. I almost called her Hall of Famer right out of the gate.
She is a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah. In my heart.
All right. So heading into the first quarter, we have a score of We Heart Jessica Alba, 10 points. And Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer, yet to get on the board.
Before we get to the first quarter, we wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
Our first quarter today will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 4 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, the answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 25 points.
Question number 1 of pre and post game. Say for one small stint coaching the Lightning, he has been ESPN's go-to voice on hockey for 25 years with the granddaddy of all mullets and the granddaddy of them all.
All right, we're checked in.
All right, We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. Can talk it out.
Ian, I think you're right with the first half being Barry Melrose.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident on that.
And it fits with the granddaddy of them all, which is a bowl game that I wish my team would get to play in.
Yeah.
That'd be the Rose Bowl. So Barry Melrose Bowl, you're good with that?
Yep, I'm good with that.
All right, we'll check that in.
All right. And We Heart Jessica Alba, what did you guys have?
I immediately sent over to Adam Barry Melrose. I was trying to see if I could contort this to be Barry Melrose Somania, because that's also the granddaddy of them all, but it didn't quite seem to work. So we also went with Barry Melrose Bowl.
And points for both teams. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So Melrose joined ESPN in 1996. Time's gone very quickly. I just forgotten it had been that long. He left ESPN in 2008. A lot of people might remember he went to the Lightning. He lasted less than 20 games and they just, fired him and he went right back to ESPN. So there it is. All right. Question number 2 of pre and post game. According to GameSpot, the best-selling video game franchise of the year through June and their 2022 cover player. That probably could say the best-selling sports video game franchise, if that helps.
I figured. I was.
Yeah. Well, I'll just be clear.
We will check in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Once again, Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. Please talk it out.
Josh, I'm struggling with this one.
I think FIFA or Madden are the ones that make sense, but I can't think of anybody who.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of any Denny, Dennis, anything like that who would be on the cover of Madden this year, and I'm not thinking of anything. I'm trying to think of different machinations of FIFA World Cup, men's players, women's players. No one is jumping to mind.
I can't think of anybody soccer-wise who was like
There a Fabio, someone.
I just want to see
the
graphic of Fabio on the cover of FIFA.
I don't know. So, Bombek, what do you want to do? Do you want to just check in with Mad Dennis Green.
It's not going to be that, but
Clearly not. Clearly not. Is there any player that it actually might be from football side?
that starts with like Den or N.
Back.
MLB The Show.
MLB The Show Tani.
Shohei Otani. There's how
MLB
could, how could
MLB The Show
Shohei
The Shohei Otani. That's probably it.
How is that the best-selling sports video game franchise?
But
I mean, it works. Let's
it
go.
Works.
With it.
So let's go. Yeah, we're checking in with MLB The Shohei Otani.
All right. And We Heart Jessica Alba, what did you have?
David, I'd like to lodge a formal complaint that you asked them for an answer. They took 15 seconds. One of them took 15 seconds to berate you, and then they checked in with the right answer. Lodging a formal protest. Yeah, we had the same discussion between like FIFA and then Madden. Nothing seemed to work. NBA 2K, and I was like, is there a K that works? But it didn't seem to work. Then I thought, I don't know how it's the best selling, but the only one that fit was MLB The Shohei Otani, and I'm pretty sure he was the cover athlete. So we checked in with that.
Both teams are receiving points. And the very little bit that I gave you to latch onto was it said best-selling sports video game franchise of the year through June, because the football tends to
right,
sell.
Because Madden doesn't come out. Yeah,
Madden doesn't come out, and it sells obviously more during the football season. I think by Super Bowl, by the time that happens at the beginning of the calendar year, people are sort of bought up if they're going to buy it. So people get excited during spring training. That's when they buy baseball. So
FIFA comes out in September, right? I think around then. So it's probably the same.
That makes sense.
So there you go.
There's no way in any real realm of anything when you take a full year into account that the MLB The Show they're probably not even top 5 when it gets to a full year.
I bet you're right, but that's why I put through June of this year. So, all right. Question number 3 of pre and post game. Besides Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, the only golfer to win 4 majors before the age of 25, and the last pitcher to throw a no-hitter in the postseason.
All right, we're checking in.
All right, Yohan Santana should be a Hall of Famer, has checked in. We Heart Jessica Alba. Your turn to talk it out.
I think we just got it.
Yeah. I thought it might be Sam Snead, but Scott knows his baseball, and he's pretty sure it's Roy Halladay. So if it's Roy, then it's probably going to be Rory McIlroy Halladay.
Boom. Check it in.
All right. And Yohan Santana should be Hall of Famer. What did you guys have?
Yeah, we had the same answer. I remember reading that one following the Open a few weeks back, that Rory McIlroy did win 4 majors before turning 25, but he's on a bit of a cold spell right now. So yes, we also checked in with Rory McIlroy Halladay.
That's right. Points all around. So of course, Roy Halladay is the only pitcher to throw a no-hitter in the postseason, except for going back to Don Larson in 56. But of course, that was in the World Series. And that was in 2010. I think against the Reds, if I remember right.
I know it was the Reds. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. And you're exactly right. What you were saying, Ian, that Rory McIlroy sort of, when he was still very young, he won the U.S. Open in 2011, very quickly won the PGA Championship in 2012, and then won the PGA and the British Open in 2014. And I think he's only won maybe 1 major since. So it's been a while. He's got a bit of a dry spell. But yes, well done to both teams. All right. Our last question of pre and post game. Purdue point guard and number 5 pick in the 2022 NBA draft and College Athletic Conference mistakenly thought to have been named for the number of schools in the original conference, at least in Roman numerals.
Okay. All right. Scott's all over this.
We're checked in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Yohan Santana, get your full allotment of time to talk this out.
All right. So the first half is Jaden Ivey. I don't know what the second half would be, but it's in Roman numerals. So VIII, like the big 8.
Well, but it's got to come out. I mean,
it has to.
It's Jaden Ivey. Ivy
League. Oh, but I guess. But
did the Ivy League have? Well, I and V are.
Oh, okay. I see.
Are numeral, right? Or
IV
that'd be 4, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So.
I can't think of anything else that would go with.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta be Jaden Ivy League. You want to check in?
Yes, and David is a Ivy Leaguer, so it makes sense that this would be the route he would go.
It all checks.
We'll check in with.
All right,
Jaden Ivy League.
All right, and Jessica Alba fan club. What'd you guys get?
Had this before you finished reading the question. It just nothing else made sense with you. So we also checked in with Jaden Ivy League.
Yes, that is correct. And the Ivy League, a lot of people believe erroneously that the league was named because there were originally 4 teams in the Ivy League. 4 in Roman numerals is, of course, IV. And so a lot of people think that's why it was originally called the Ivy League. And there's a lot of debate as to whether that was where it was from, but most sources say that is not how it got its name. So I think it was more because of the Ivy look of the old school on the walls. So anyway, well done, Jaden Ivy League.
The
Pretentiousness?
the pretentiousness of ivy covered buildings. I think, yes, that would probably be more correct.
I mean, David, you should know. You were there when all these schools opened.
That's right. Right.
Founding of the conference.
That's yes, of course. Right. Do you think Wrigley Field is pretentious?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fair enough. All right. So after the first quarter, we have scores of We Heart Jessica Alba with 110 points, and Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer with 100 points. Today's second quarter will be the missing link.
The Missing Link. This quarter will consist of 5 questions with theme-linked answers. The teams will attempt to answer the questions and guess the theme. Each question is worth 20 points. If a team checks in first via chat to the host with the correct theme before the 5th question, they will earn 100 points. The other team can still earn 50 points with the correct theme guess. If neither team has checked in with the correct theme before the 5th question, each team can earn 50 points with the correct answer to the theme after the 5th question.
Question number 1 of the missing link. Before the Charlotte Bobcats in 2004, the last expansion team in the NBA that was not part of a 2-team expansion.
We're checked in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Johan Santana fan club. Talk it out.
So you're confident that the 2 Canada teams came in together?
They did.
Okay.
Vancouver and Toronto came in together.
Cool. So what were some of the other expansion teams? I'm trying to think.
Did the Pelicans actually get a expansion team?
Well, no, the Hornets just moved to New Orleans and then they became the Pelicans, and then Charlotte reinstated the Hornets. So I don't think
I couldn't remember how that all happened.
Yeah,
Then the Bobcats came in, but then they got to get the Hornets back.
But yeah, exactly. But the Pelicans have the new Charlotte Hornets have the old Charlotte Hornets history. I can't even follow that. But what about the Magic?
They came in with the Timberwolves.
All right.
I think they were the same year.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Man.
Were the Rockets an expansion team, or were they?
No, I think they relocated from San Diego. Yeah, I think we're going to have to go back because the Timberwolves were the late, it was like 89.
Not going to be of much help.
I'm not sure I have anything. I can't think of who would have come in the early 80s as an expansion team.
Phoenix Suns, when did they come in?
I think they were around.
They were around already?
Sure.
All right, checking in with the Phoenix Suns.
Okay, and We Heart Jessica Alba. What did you guys have?
I believe the Suns lost the coin flip to draft Lou Alcindor in 1969. So they were around longer than people think. We were thinking. We're a team.
You were. I didn't do squat.
Yeah, it's like I knew that the Magic, Timberwolves, Hornets, and Heat all came in together in a 2-year span. It was like 2 and 2. I don't remember which, pair it was, but those 4 all came in. I know they came together. The Canadian teams came together. So I knew this had to be at least mid 80s. And then from things I picked up watching like YouTube videos, and then something that I read once about Mark Aguirre, I'm pretty sure the Mavericks were an expansion team in like the early 80s. So we checked in with the Dallas Mavericks.
One team is receiving points. And I think between the 2 teams, I think you pieced just about the whole history together. So Charlotte came in 2004. That was the second instance of Charlotte. The first instance was the one that moved to New Orleans and eventually became the Pelicans. And then Ian had the rest in terms of how they switched around the Hornets and the Bobcat stuff. 95 was Toronto and Vancouver. You guys mentioned that. 89 was Minnesota and Orlando. 88 was the first Hornets and Miami Heat. And then before that, going back to 1980, it was the Dallas Mavericks. Well done.
Would never got there.
I feel like people forget they were an expansion team because all those teams moved and relocated, and all those ABA teams, like it was so muddied back then.
It was very confusing. Yeah,
that is a team I pay next to no win. They don't get any of my time. They can have Walling's time. That's fine. They don't get mine.
They get a lot of Walling's time, so that's probably plenty. All right, question number 2: the only original AFL team that won a Super Bowl in the 1990s.
We're gonna check in.
All right, We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Once again, Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer, about 2 minutes.
I don't think we're going to need 2 minutes. I think the 90s were jam-packed with NFC teams that won, which were all not part of the AFL. So I think that only leaves at the end was the Denver Broncos. Yeah. And I think they were an original AFL team.
Yeah, they were an AFL team. The question is, were they an original AFL team?
So here's the thing. All the other teams that won
were NFC.
Which in the beginning, they took the NFC, the NFL teams made them the NFC, the AFL teams made them the AFC, I do believe.
So I'm good checking in with the Broncos if you are.
The other ones are all, All
right.
I say we go with it.
All right, checking in with the Denver Broncos.
All right, and We Are Jessica Alba. What did you have?
Yeah, we listed out all the Super Bowl winners in the 90s, and the only one that even made a little bit of sense to us was the Broncos, so we also checked in Denver Broncos.
And both teams are receiving points. The Jets obviously only won much earlier. The Patriots only won later. The Bills, they lost 4 times. We had the Oilers. They've never won. The Chargers. The Raiders, I think, last one, was it 84, 85, somewhere in there. And of course, the Dallas Texans, who became the Kansas City Chiefs, had won earlier and won later, but did not win in the 90s.
Right.
So the correct answer is the Denver Broncos. And our themed linked answers thus far for our missing link are the Dallas Mavericks and the Denver Broncos. Question number 3. Offensive MVPs of this bowl game over the last 10 years have included Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, JT Barrett, Blake Bortles, and Marcus Mariota.
All right, we're checking in.
All right. Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer, has checked in. We heart Jessica Alba.
Yeah, without question. You know that, Scott. You're just giving me something to do.
I see you sitting there, and I don't want you.
I don't need your pity.
Look, we got Jessica Alba in her team name. I don't know what's going on under the table there. I want you to,
I'm thinking about Dark Angel. I'm thinking about Sin City.
Into the Blue.
Chuck. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Burrow was the championship game for sure. The other ones were not. No, they wouldn't have been.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure that was
but lost.
Right. I'm pretty sure that was the Fiesta Bowl when LSU won it.
Cool.
I believe so. If you're good with that, we're going to check in with the Fiesta Bowl.
I like it.
All right. And Johan Santana, what did you guys have?
Yeah. So looking at the list of quarterbacks, the one that really stuck out to me was Bortles, because he went to UCF, and UCF doesn't typically play in big name bowl games. So I was trying to remember which bowl game UCF played in with Bortles, and I seem to remember the Fiesta Bowl, and Bombeck agreed, so we also checked in with the Fiesta Bowl.
And both teams are receiving points. And yeah, you're right. It's a pretty diverse group of quarterbacks from all different conferences, but you're right to key in on Blake Bortles, because he is the one that sort of stands out as obviously not being one of the big 5 conferences. And yes, it is the Fiesta Bowl. So well done to both teams. And the theme linked answers thus far are Dallas Mavericks, Denver Broncos, and Fiesta Bowl. Question number 4. School and team name for the college that was the subject of the Pony Express scandal of the early 1980s.
Well, we'll check in.
All right. Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer, has checked in. We are Jessica Alba. Please talk it out.
I'm familiar with the Pony Express scandal. I remember, I think there was either 30 for 30 or some sort of documentary that I watched about it, but eluding me what it was. So now I'm just trying to think of different scandals and what schools were involved to see if I can match up school with scandal.
The school scandal matching game.
Yeah, right? That sounds like a Sporkle quiz.
It does. It totally does.
Shout out to Sporkle. We need a sponsor.
You tired of talking about shaving your balls?
Oh, we'll never get tired of that.
Never get tired of that.
I have no clue. I don't even know what part of the country the school was in to try to narrow it down. Pony Express. Is there a reason it's called that?
Yeah. So, I mean, what Pony Express is?
So it's like if we're
northeast, right?
Yeah, but and if I'm thinking, do they call it the Pony Express because of that, or do they call it because the team is like a horse themed team?
That's another thing.
So like when I think horse nicknames or mascots, right, that aren't Broncos, since it's already been in this one, I'm thinking like that.
Did you just see what I typed?
Okay. Oh yeah, that would work. So if it is, let's say Mustangs. What school is that? Who are the Mustangs? To SMU? Are they Mustangs? I can't really think of who the Mustangs are.
I'm going to need an answer.
All right, we'll give you 25 seconds, David.
Oh, four. This guy who, when he gets teamed with Mason, will talk for 8 hours about every possible answer, is giving crap to anybody else taking a few seconds. Really?
You're giving me more time now.
No, he's not. Josh was just filibustering. You're out of time now. That was really extra seconds.
We're gonna go with the SMU Mustangs.
All right. And Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. What did you guys have?
It absolutely was Southern Methodist University, SMU.
And the team name you didn't say, but
Mustangs.
Yeah, okay. That is correct. Both teams are right. And Scott, you probably did see the 30 for 30. I think playing off of Pony Express, I think they called it Pony Excess in the 30 for 30. And it was actually quite good. I mean, I'm old enough to remember all of this with Eric Dickerson and Craig James and all of that. But yes, it was pretty corrupt times for sure. All right. Our themed linked answers thus far are Dallas Mavericks, Denver Broncos, Fiesta Bowl, and the SMU Mustangs. All right. I'm going to do something a little bit different for question 5. That's going to make Josh's head hurt, but it's not so bad. Since when Scott comes on my games, I always try to work in one wrestling question, but I realize that's not fair for everybody. I have 2 alternates for question 5. You can pick which one you want to go with. There's no bonus points or anything. I'm going to give you 2 completely different questions. Both work with the theme, and you answer whichever one your team decides you want to. Okay. But spoiler alert, one of them's a wrestling question. I just didn't think it was fair to throw in 2 wrestling questions or just leave with one. All right. So question 5, alternative number 1, team name for the Philadelphia Atlantic 10 University that included among its players Tim Legler, Lionel Simmons, and Kobe's dad, Joe Jellybean Bryant. Okay. That's question 5, alternative 1. And alternative 2, the only wrestler to have won a Royal Rumble, a Money in the Bank, a King in the Ring, and the Intercontinental Championship.
Checked in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Johan Santana fan club. Talk it out.
I'm back. Are you good with LaSalle Explorers?
Yeah.
All right. Check in with LaSalle Explorers.
All right. And We Heart Jessica Alba. What did you guys have?
Not checked in with LaSalle Explorers. We checked in with my all-time favorite wrestler, Edge.
And both teams are receiving points. Yes, that's right. So it's LaSalle Explorers. I didn't know how many hints I should give because it's not exactly a common Division I team, but obviously for anybody who pays attention to Philadelphia basketball at all, it's not so bad. And yes, Edge is the only guy to win the Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, King of the Ring, and the Intercontinental Championship. I had to add on the Intercontinental Championship because
other guys have done. Sheamus has done.
Yeah.
The other 3.
The Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, and King of the Ring. Sheamus has done it. And who else? One other guy.
Brock Lesnar.
Well done. All right. Well done. All right. So our
nerd.
he's the rated R superstar. He's good stuff.
All right. So our themed linked answers are the Dallas Mavericks, the Denver Broncos, the Fiesta Bowl, the SMU Mustangs, LaSalle Explorers, and Edge. Both teams checked in correct answers. I will just tell you. After question 3, We Heart Jessica Alba checked in. And then just after that, Johan Santana checked in. So Scott and Adam, I'll let you guys reveal your answer.
Go for it, sir.
Yeah. We thought at first, all right, was this horse related stuff? And, you kind of stuck around that for a bit. But then we realized, no, this is models of Ford cars that you have put up.
And that is correct. Well done. Yeah, teams did get it pretty quickly, and I thought they might, but I thought it was thought it was worth it for a change.
I'm going to be honest. Had Mustang been the third question and not Fiesta, we may have checked in with horse logos or something.
I absolutely thought of going that way, but then I was like, shoot, if somebody checks in after 3 with horses, I'm never going to hear the end of it. So,
I mean, the point is to have a red herring.
No, I know. Let's see. Thanks to the 100 points for that and an extra question being answered, we have the following scores. So with a small lead, we have We Heart Jessica Alba with 310 points, and Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer with 230. Still a long way to go. That will bring us to halftime.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 3 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 25 points.
This halftime is all about sitcom characters that are sports writers. And I can only find 3 of them, so it works with halftime. Yeah, glad you have Adam, right?
Boy.
Question number 1. What long-running sitcom of the 90s and 2000s features a title character who was a sports writer for Newsday?
I think so. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I like
Pretty
it.
sure.
Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking.
It wasn't one I watched, but I like it.
Should we 3, 2, 1 this? Sounds like we all know it.
We can.
I like the 3, 2, 1s. I think it's fun.
All right, is everyone ready to check in?
Are all 4 of us going to say it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll all 3, 2, 1 it.
All right, I will count you down, and then everybody can.
So we're gonna do 3, 2, 1, then say it.
What's gonna stink is if some point somebody has one of these wrong. But okay, here we go on 1. 3, 2, 1.
Arli.
Everyone loves Rayming.
What just happened? Now we got to backtrack. Okay, since we 3, 2, 1, now I have to.
No,
ask.
I think we all got it.
Oh, did
I mean, Josh said it. I said it. Adam said it.
That sounded like you guys were saying something else. So I don't know what you said.
What did you say?
I'm so confused.
Let's back up. Adam, what did you say?
I said Arliss.
Okay, and Josh and Ian, what did you guys say?
We said everyone loves Raymond.
It's everybody.
Or whichever.
Okay.
Whichever.
So the correct answer is everybody loves Raymond.
Oh,
That is amazing
what
that I just called out that people are going to get this wrong on a 3, 2, 1 someday. And sure enough, it happened. I cursed it. But that is correct. So that is points for Johan Santana.
yeah. Hold on.
I don't know if it is. They said everyone loves Raymond.
I'm giving them credit.
Yeah.
Kidding. I'm messing with you.
Ever since the story about Ian being 0-2 and being carried to a loss by Ian, I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad.
They deserved that loss. They earned it. They worked hard.
That was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, that was weird because I was like, you guys didn't say what I was.
Yeah,
I heard
Exactly. What Ian was saying. So.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 2. What character of a Neil Simon play turned movie and sitcom is a New York City sports writer?
All right, we'll check in.
All right. Johan Santana has checked in. Jessica Alba, talk it out.
I didn't even know Neil Simon did plays.
Neil Simon's what? He was one of the hair metal guys, right? Or something. No.
I think that's Paul Simon.
No, Paul Simon is not a hair metal. Paul Simon was folk. Sorry, I'm getting. What was Neil? Who was Neil Simon?
I don't know. It's a mixture of Neil Diamond and Paul Simon.
Simon? No.
He was a playwright. Just fun.
Obviously.
I'm thinking of Neil. There's a Neil who was in a crappy hair metal band, and I can't remember.
Motley Crue.
Neil Peart
Maybe that. No, Neil
from
Peart was
Rush?
in Rush.
I'm like, he was. Is
They're
that
not. They're,
crappy?
I can't think of what his
name.
name is. The guy from Motley Crue.
That's probably who I'm
Neil-
thinking of.
Vince Neil?
Vince Neil.
Neil. Vince Neil is who I'm
Vince
thinking of.
Neil.
Vince Neil is who I'm thinking of.
Well, here we go. Pre and post game. Vince Neil Simon. Here we
I'm
go.
like,
Yeah.
I don't think Vince Neil's writing plays. I don't know if he's
Simon
if he can read and write.
City
Yeah,
is
I
New
this
York
means
City
nothing to me.
sports-
Movie. So all right, let's just do that. A
Yeah,
movie
yeah.
and a sitcom.
What movie also became a sitcom?
What character? I can't even. I mean, movie and sitcom. There's so many. The Nanny. Did they have a movie? No, she was a nanny. She wasn't a
She was
sports
a
writer.
nanny. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be pissed that like the pop culture ones are the ones where we're gonna lose our points.
I know we had a perfect game up until the last question.
Yeah.
We were Roy Halladay in this thing.
Uh-huh.
Sitcoms and movies.
Mhm.
It's not. Is it Carrie Bradshaw? Was she a sports writer? It's a sitcom and a movie. I don't know what they did for a living besides
Was it a
complain.
play? Was Sex and the City a play?
I think it became a play after.
Yeah.
I think it went backwards. I think it was sitcom, movie, possible crappy off-Broadway show. I don't know this. I'm just trying to think of sitcoms that also had a movie, and that's not working well for me.
It was a play turn.
The play means nothing to me because if it's not like a popular play, I'm not gonna have heard of it. I'm more of a musical guy. I prefer my plays with music.
Yeah. Turn movie and sitcom, but it has to be both,
right. I just don't.
Based on this play.
Is Damn Yankees all of those things? Was there a Damn Yankees sitcom that I don't know about?
I don't know.
Even if we know that, we may not know the character.
Oh yeah.
You can't just come up with the
Arli. It's definitely Arliss.
At least we can sound somewhat smart if we had the show. We'd have.
Oh my god.
Would save some face, but I just don't think that's going to happen here.
No. No clue.
All right, let's go with Arliss. Checking it in.
All right. Okay. And Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. What do you guys have?
If I told you it was The Odd Couple, would that help you at all?
Is it Felix and someone?
Jack Lemmon?
It is Felix and Oscar.
Felix
and the
Unger.
writer was Oscar Madison.
No, it wasn't.
One team is receiving points. Yeah, so Neil Simon wrote a lot of famous plays. He wrote The Odd Couple. He also wrote Barefoot in the Park. He wrote shoot, I'm missing it. I think he wrote The Goodbye Girls, the Sunshine Boys.
Girls.
No, not that one.
That was Vince Neil again.
That was
my bad.
That was Neil, Vince. I've seen in the phone book.
The Odd Couple was a play, and then it was a movie with Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon, who were pretty famous pair in movies. And then later it was Jack Klugman and Tony Randall, and then much later
Matthew Perry and Thomas Lennon, right?
That's right. It was Matthew Perry, and actually when they redid it with Matthew Perry was not just a sports writer, but he was also a sports radio talk host. So that was an extra bonus. But yes, the correct answer was Oscar Madison. So points to Johan Santana, should be a Hall of Famer. Well done.
Nice. Remember that slight lead we had, Adam?
Yeah,
going into this round?
Okay. Question number 3. In 2004, 2005, a sitcom called Listen Up ran for 22 episodes on CBS. It was based on the life of Tony Kornheiser. Both the main character and the Michael Wilbon inspired co-star were played by actors who were on long-running NBC sitcoms that each ran for 180 plus episodes in the 80s and 90s. Both NBC shows, and both were named for the star of the show. Name either of the two actors.
We're checking in.
All right, Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. Just checking in. We heart Jessica Alba.
All right, Adam. Here's what we do.
Yeah.
We have whatever time we have left to think of NBC shows.
Yep.
From the 80s and 90s that are named after the star, or we check in with our list. So we have some options here. So let's see.
180 episodes. So those are long.
NBC, and it's sitcom, so it's not.
Yeah.
We can throw out like dramas and like legal type shows.
NBC did the Thursday, the must-see the
both
the
NBC shows
Thursday.
named for the star of the show.
Yeah,
so we just need
just need a star.
That's the show is named
We
after.
need one
right?
white
So
guy
it's like
or one black guy.
So it's like a Roseanne, but
after.
not
Just to clarify, those are the names of the shows, but the actors were on those shows. Those are not the main actors.
Oh, I gotcha.
Okay, all right.
So this So this could be like Roseanne, John Goodman, the star of Roseanne, but not named.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That helps, but also probably doesn't.
It makes it more difficult, honestly.
But I agree that the Michael Wilbon inspired character would hopefully be a black actor. So that
I would hope so. Yeah.
I mean,
it could be loosely based on. Yeah. So if that's the case, I mean that should maybe narrow it down a little bit. Like, unfortunately, there weren't as many black sitcom characters back then. So, man.
All right. So I'm trying to think of those shows.
What are the NBC sitcoms?
Seinfeld.
No black people on Seinfeld.
No, not a single.
Nope.
Well, not in.
So, but it could have been a character. It could have been a character on there. Who could have played?
There was a lawyer who was a black man.
Well, maybe the white guy.
Yeah, Jackie Childs. There you go. You got Jackie Childs.
Maybe the Tony Kornheiser characters. Was this? I can't picture any of them playing.
No, yeah.
Was Jason Alexander playing Tony Kornheiser?
Yeah.
Listen Up.
Michael Richards.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. 0405, was that when he? No, that was after, right? When he got into all his.
No, I think that was before he got into.
Okay,
his
so yeah, he
trouble.
probably wasn't getting a show then.
He had the Michael Richards show for a while,
Right.
actually.
What else was on the
NBC,
same night as Seinfeld?
Friends was on NBC, but
Didn't
that's
that
not named
start
after
in the
it's not the
90s?
star. Seinfeld is named after its own star. What else?
Frasier,
possibly.
could it be
Could have
Kelsey
been
Grammer?
CBS.
Did he do this before?
But
in between?
that's not named after the star. Frasier is named after the character, not the star.
I'm going to need an answer.
I'm so
going to
lost.
give you 15 seconds.
I think we're gonna check in with our list, right?
No. I mean, Jason Alexander. Maybe they.
Right, there it is.
He looks
Yep.
kind of like Michael Wilborn. Like he looks like a white Michael Wilborn. I'll give it to you. Loosely inspired. Loosely.
Very loosely.
We're checked in with that, David.
So you checked in. I just want to clarify. You checked in with?
Jason Alexander.
All right, fair enough. And Johan Santana, what you guys have?
I'd never heard of the show, but I said to Bomback, it's possible that Jason Alexander played Tony Kornheiser, and we couldn't think of anything better. So we also went with Jason Alexander.
But he not as Michael Wilbon.
He looks way
Josh,
more like Michael
Josh,
Wilborn.
or Michael Wilborn, right?
Wilborn, whatever.
Wilborn. No,
Okay.
He was the Tony Kornheiser.
I don't think I've ever been prouder to say that both teams are receiving points.
Let's go!
So yes, Jason Alexander, of course, from Seinfeld. And the other show you're missing from the 80s and 90s was The Cosby Show. And Michael
Malcolm
Wilbon
Jamal
was
Warner?
played by Malcolm Jamal Warner. That is correct. So the correct answers you were looking for were Malcolm Jamal Warner and Jason Alexander.
No wonder it got canceled.
I'm blown away, but well done to both teams. Okay. After halftime, Johan Santana has closed the gap and is now at 305 points. And We Heart Jessica Alba still has a lead with 335 points.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BenchwarmersTP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
And that will bring us to the third quarter, which will be David versus Goliath.
David versus Goliath. This quarter will consist of 3 pairs of questions, one easier, David, and one harder, Goliath. After hearing both questions, the teams will pick one of the 2 questions to answer, either David or Goliath. Each David question is worth 25 points, and each Goliath question is worth 50 points.
Question number 1. So the inspiration for this question goes to our Patreon supporter and equipment manager, Tim Simplot, who sent me the idea for the question, and I just tacked on the Goliath. So here we go. David, what 21st century ex-Red Sox player and one-time batting champion has the most home runs in Major League Baseball history for a player with the initials MLB? For Goliath, what 21st century ex-Red Sox player and one-time batting champion has the most home runs in MLB history for a player with the initials HR?
We're checking in.
Johan Santana should be Hall of Famers. Checked in. We Heart Jessica Alba. A few minutes to talk it out.
HR are the initials. So if you can give me some H names, I might be able to get this.
Yeah.
Harold.
Yeah.
It's not Harold Reynolds. He certainly wasn't a 21st century Red Sox. Why am I blanking on Red Sox players?
Carrasco? I don't know.
What?
That's a name.
Horatio?
Horatio, yeah. Horatio Sands, the SNL guy.
One-time batting champ. It's a batting champ in the last 20 years, basically. Why can't I think of
Hans? Is there any German players?
No. Howard, Harold, Hugo, Hubert,
Hugh, yeah.
Hurley. Oh, is this Hugo Reyes from Lost? That's HR.
Heath.
They did have some Heaths, the Red Sox, but they were most of them were pitchers, I think. I can't even think of who this would be. I'm going to be so upset when I hear this because obviously it's going to be a name that I know because it's 21st century
Herb?
baseball.
Is there a Herb out there?
The 21st century.
Probably not.
I don't know.
Oh man, this is bothering me. David is Mookie Betts. I know that.
Mhm.
I know that his parents specifically made those his initials with dreams that he would play in the major leagues.
Wow.
I've heard that story. So that's definitely, so we have our fallback.
Oh, so his parents get to be FTGs. All right, cool.
F those guys. I'm even trying to think of Red Sox batting champs, and it's like Bill Miller, Kevin Youkilis. None of those guys, obviously their initials
Any,
aren't HR.
Any Rodriguez's or anything like that for the R's? Trying to think of it last like popular
Yeah, no, it's a
R
good
names.
good way to think about it too. I mean, there's a lot of, obviously it's baseball. There's a ton of Rodriguez's, but I can't think of like a Humberto Rodriguez or anything like that. So, oh man, I don't have it. So we'll check in with the David answer of Mookie Betts.
All right. And Johan Santana, what do you guys have?
So for some reason, Hanley Ramirez came to me right away for the
That's
Goliath,
Yep.
and I don't remember him winning a batting title with the Red Sox. But I don't
With
know if
the
that was
Marlins.
necessarily part of the question. He won one. He was on the Red Sox, and he won one batting title. So yeah, we checked in with the Goliath of Hanley Ramirez.
And both teams are receiving points. Yeah. So Mookie Betts won over 200 career home runs. He won his batting title in 2018 when he also won the MVP with the Red Sox. And Hanley Ramirez actually had two different stints with the Red Sox because he came up and then he was part of the big package that
The Josh Beckett trade.
The
Josh
Beckett
Beckett trade. That's right.
Yeah.
Right. But he won when he went to the Marlins. He won a batting title with the Marlins, and then eventually he came back to the Red Sox. So yes, both teams receiving points. Well done, both teams.
Damn it, Adam, had you said Ramirez and not Rodriguez,
Yeah.
I might have been able to get
I
that.
thought you
actually
were maybe
was-
going to go there next. I was like,
I was
figured
thinking
that.
no.
When you said give me some H names, I was thinking no, you'd be better off asking for R names.
Yeah.
and that would have
I was
gotten it.
thinking the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get to Hanley.
Yeah.
No.
No, definitely not. All right. Question number 2, David. Who was the last Heisman Trophy winner to be drafted number 1 overall in the NFL draft? And Goliath, who was the last non-quarterback Heisman Trophy winner to be drafted number 1 overall in the NFL draft?
Spoiler alert, guys. We're checking in with the David answer.
All right.
Arliss. Sorry.
That's right. The episode title is 321 Arliss. All right. So we are Jessica Alba has checked in, and Johan Santana should be Hall of Famer. You guys have a couple minutes to talk it out.
So we know the David. The David's Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Because Trevor Lawrence didn't win a Heisman, and I don't even remember the name of the guy the Texans took first this year, or whoever went. Just the Jaguars took first this year. Sorry. So it's,
He's a Georgia Bulldog.
Trayvon Walker. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, but he did not. He's not a quarterback, and he didn't win the Heisman.
Well, he was like the fourth best defensive lineman on his team this past season. So yeah, he
I mean,
didn't win the Heisman.
We had some good defensive players, not gonna lie.
Ridiculously good defensive players. But Bombeck, OJ Simpson, did he go number 1 overall?
I don't know. And that would be a long way back. Because there were a lot of running backs who won in this stretch between, there in 2000, him in 2000, like 2000s. I
don't feel comfortable doing. I feel most comfortable just checking in with Burrow and at least stay within striking distance.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So we are checking in with the David answer of Joe Burrow.
And Jessica Alba, what did you guys have?
We did the exact same thing.
Arliss. Oh, I mean, sorry. Yeah.
So both teams are receiving David points, and the Goliath is actually a huge name, but it does go pretty far back. And the answer is actually Bo Jackson.
Oh,
wow.
mother! That's the one name I sent to Scott.
Adam had it in our chat.
So what's funny is that, like, I mean, obviously everybody knows this, but the trend towards away from running backs and towards quarterbacks means that, like, both in the NFL and in college, if you go back far enough, you get like the Bo Jacksons, the OJ Simpsons, the George Rogers, the Billy Sims, I think was the number 1 pick. I mean, Marcus Allen. I mean, a lot of these guys who won Heisman trophies as running backs then came out and were number 1 picks, and then it all shifted to quarterbacks. So yes, it was in fact Bo Jackson. So that breaks the Marcus rule of not having of not having huge names be Goliath answers, but I thought that was significantly harder when it was.
Oh yeah,
That was good. Yeah.
That's
Wow,
good. Very good.
Adam was on
it-
it, and I
he-
didn't feel.
Did he get
confident.
drafted by somebody and then didn't play for
Right.
them and then went back into the draft the next
Yeah,
year?
that's another weird thing with Bo Jackson. I think Bo Jackson told Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay sucked at the time, don't draft me. I'm not going to play there, whatever. And then he got drafted. He said, screw it, I'm going to play baseball. And then the next year, the Raiders took a flyer on him. Like, I don't know. I can't remember. It was not in the first round. It was maybe fourth, fifth round.
That's what was throwing me.
And they convinced him to come play football. And then he was obviously dual sporting. So
Yeah,
yes.
as soon as you said Bo Jackson, it made me think that there was something like it wasn't
Fishy.
just a straight up like you remember he was the number one pick necessarily.
Yes.
Unless
Yes.
you remembered that he didn't play for them, went and played
Yes.
baseball. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I had to remember that Joe Burrow did those things because I was like, oh, it's Sam Bradford for sure. And then I'm like, wait, nope, Kyler Murray did it.
Yeah.
And then right after that, Joe Burrow did it.
The only thing that could possibly give you a hiccup is like
Baker Mayfield, didn't he? He went number one, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Trend
handful of
going.
those.
Yeah.
there's a run of them for sure. There's a run of them.
Uh-huh.
And I was afraid somebody was going to get tripped up because I keep forgetting Trevor Lawrence didn't win the Heisman because he finished second, but I think 5 years from now I won't remember that. All right. Question number 3, our last David and Goliath. So for David, I'm looking for the first father-son duo that each had 30-30 seasons. And in fact, each had 5 of them. Okay. For Goliath, I'm looking for the first and only teammates to both have 30-30 seasons. And I'm going to give you a hint. It happened in the 1980s.
We're checked in.
We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. You have about 30 seconds.
All right. Are you
We're
confident that the David is the Bonzes?
I'm almost certain of that. I don't think
You don't think Griffey Sr. had?
I don't think Griffey Sr. would have had. I don't know if he had 30 home runs. He was more of a table setter for the Reds.
Okay.
I don't know if he would. He might have. He probably had the 30 steals, but I don't know if he would have had 30 home runs in his.
Okay. That's
So
fine.
but I'm almost certain it would be the Bonzes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not super confident with any Goliath. I mean, it might be a match.
Well, so real quick, so it's not going to be Canseco because there was no other A who would have done it.
Did Henderson not overlap with Canseco?
He wouldn't have. I don't think he would have hit 30 home runs.
Okay,
He wasn't.
yeah.
He didn't have that kind of power.
Yeah.
Eric Davis did it for the Reds. Again, I can't think of another Red. And I said Darryl Strawberry did, and that's where I was trying to think of other Mets
Yeah.
from like
And the
around
big-
that 86.
Yeah. I mean, the big power hitters were Keith
So not
Hernandez
necessarily
and
big.
Gary
You're not
Carter.
necessarily needing like big.
30.
You need, who are their outfielders?
They
from
had
that
Lenny
86 team?
Dykstra, Ray Knight. Dykstra, Knight, Strawberry, and then
Who was in
their
the
other
infield for that
players.
one? Who are the other
like
infielders?
Howard Johnson. Lee
Would if he had
Mazzolini.
30 steals, would Howard Johnson have had 30 steals? I don't know. I'm not feeling confident enough with.
All right. Do you want to check in with the Bonzes, David?
I'd rather do that than just picking a second player off of maybe the Mets, or I could be wrong. Maybe there was a Red or an A who did it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, let's go with
Okay.
David for the Bonzes. Check that in.
Okay. And We Heart Jessica Alba. What did you guys have?
We had a very similar discussion. For some reason, I thought this might have been Eric Davis and his Reds teammate, but I couldn't think of a Reds teammate with Eric Davis. So we checked in with the David answer of the Bonzes.
And both teams are receiving David points. Yeah. So Barry and Bobby Bonds are the only guys that have done it 5 times, and they each did it 5 times. I think the only other person that did it close to that was maybe it was Soriano. I think had 4 of them. And in terms of the Goliath, Ian and Josh, you guys were all over it and just about on top of it. In 1987, Darryl Strawberry and Howard Johnson both went 30-30.
I mean, we're coming down to crunch time there, and and if none of those names were jumping at Ian for me to, I couldn't think of an A or a Red who did it along with Canseco or Eric Davis. And then and since Ian wasn't feeling confident enough and the Mets are his team, I was like, if none of those names were jumping out at him.
how many home runs did Howard Johnson have in 87?
Probably 31.
Probably.
It wasn't many more than that. He was in 87, he was 36-32 and Strawberry
wow.
was 39-36.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
That's probably why they ended up
So it's
naming
like-
the hotel chain after him, because he went 30-30.
Nah, yeah, makes sense.
I stayed in a Hojo once. Not fun.
So after the third quarter, we have scores if Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer with 405 points and We Heart Jessica Alba with 410 points. So it is still very much anyone's ball game.
Support for today's Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. All of us here at Benchwarmers received the Performance Package as a part of our Manscaped sponsorship, and I can speak with authority that it is filled with all sorts of goodies. I highly recommend you give it a try. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping when you use the code BENCH at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So don't forget, use the promo code BENCH, BENCH, at checkout, manscaped.com.
We head to the fourth quarter.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 4 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
The categories for today are as follows. Question 1, express yourself, which is about MLB accomplishments. Question 2, Vogue, which will be about NBA MVPs and near misses. Question 3 will be Lucky Star, which will be about hockey. Question 4 will be This Used to Be My Playground, which will be about number 1 NFL picks. It is now time for the teams to place their wagers. Now that the wagers are in, on to the question. Question number 1 of the fourth quarter, express yourself. Only 2 players in the last 50 years have had 20 doubles, 20 triples, 20 home runs, and 20 steals all in the same season. And amazingly, both did it in the same season, 2007. One was in the AL, one was in the NL. I need you to name both players.
Okay.
We are checked in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. About a minute and a half left.
Okay, yeah. So it was the beginning of Pedroia's career, but I know he won an MVP early on in his career, which is why I'm thinking that it could be that. But I do like Granderson too for the AL player.
Trying to think of what year that was. He didn't win it that year, I don't think. I think he was 08, I think was.
Might have been
the right
08. Yeah, he might have been called up in the middle of 07 because I'm pretty sure he was on that World Series winning team, but I don't know if he would have had
and
20.
Granderson came to mind just because he played with he was on the Tigers at that time, and as a Twins
really
fan,
good.
I would get to see a lot, and he definitely is a guy that had enough pop to get to 20 home runs and definitely enough speed to get all those other accolades. That's where he came up for me. That was kind of right in where he was doing really well. I can't remember what year he ended up going to the Yankees, I think, after the Tigers.
Yeah, at some point, and then eventually he made his way to the Mets. But I like that for the AL. I think Jose Reyes and Jimmy Rollins both make sense for the NL player. I just know in 2007, Jose Reyes was really good. I mean, that's when he was stealing a crazy number of bases, and he had pop, but could be Rollins also.
So I just know that was kind of in that time frame when Rollins was also just, he had that, I don't know, 3-4 year stretch where he was just hitting, like I said, that was the first name that came to mind when I was thinking NL around that time. That's all.
You feel better about Rollins than Reyes?
I do, just because I don't know. His name comes up a little more often for just in general when it comes to feats, I think, and just
okay.
Or and isn't he on the ballot for his? I don't know if he's still on the ballot or not.
Yeah, we can go with Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins if you want.
I feel good about those. I'm not sure.
Let's do it. All right, cool. So we're going with Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins for 100 points.
Okay, and We Heart Jessica Alba, what did you guys have?
Oh, your answers are way better than ours. As soon as you said them, I was like, man, I like those better. Jimmy Rollins has better numbers than Barry Larkin. Would have to come up before on here, but that's a fact if you look at stats. We didn't say those guys, but I wish we had. think it might be Reyes though too. Really wasn't sure on this. I completely forgot about Curtis Granderson, and I wish I hadn't. I literally saw a picture of him today because I did the Subway Series, and he said something about being a Yankee and a Met. So he should have been in my mind, but he wasn't. So I thought Ichiro because, well, it's Ichiro and it's 2007, and he did have the sneaky pop, once in a while. So we said Ichiro for AL, and then guys in the NL. I was just trying to think of guys that could do that. I know this guy was coming off of some really big seasons, and I think he was a Met or was close to being a Met around this time. So I tried to play game theory a little bit. So we said Ichiro and Carlos Beltran for 100 points.
Respectable guesses. One team is actually receiving points, and the correct answers are Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins. So Jimmy Rollins actually won the MVP that year.
Yep.
20 triples is the rarity, especially in this day and age. So when you go way back in the history of baseball, 20 triples wasn't as rare, but 20 home runs was. So it made it a lot harder to hit 20 in all four of these categories. I just went to look to remind myself, but neither Reyes nor Ichiro ever hit 20 home runs.
I was going to say, I thought that was my sticking point for both of them was I didn't think Ichiro got to 20.
I think there were guys that could get like 15 to 18, but yeah.
Yeah, I think both of them were probably in the teens at some point. Not much of Ichiro. Reyes did it a couple times, I think. Reyes also had a mess of steals. He would have had steals in
he had like a 75 steal season.
Yes, he did.
2007. It was insane. I mean, the guy just stole on every time he reached base. But yeah, I mean, I guess with Citi Field's not exactly a batter's ballpark. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense that Reyes never got to 20 home runs.
Yeah, I wonder with these guys with steals, they don't even bother going for triples. They just figure they'll, get their single or double and then steal their way to third. So anyway, yes. But anyway, the correct answer is Jimmy Rollins and Curtis Granderson. So that was really, really good pull. All right.
I wouldn't have had Granderson if he hadn't been, it seems like all these guys just rip apart the Twins in that time frame, and those names pop up pretty quick when I think about teams that played against the Twins.
All right, question number 2. Since 2000, what player has not won the NBA MVP but has finished in the top 10 times, and in fact has finished second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh in different seasons, but has never won?
If I even say something, you'll be like, "No, Adam, you stupid man."
He hasn't said it by now. I don't know why he's.
Okay, we're checking in.
All right, Yohan Santana should be Hall of Famers. Checked in. We heart Jessica Alba. You have about a minute left.
Have the wheels fallen off for us?
You don't want to ask me. You don't want to ask me because I'm not offering really any help. I mean, between the two names that you like,
that would be Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade, draft classmates.
I like Melo better.
Wade has always had the team success.
Yeah.
So, they always say that's not part of it, but it always is in the voting is how well your team does. Whereas a lot, Carmelo played for a lot of not great teams, but Carmelo would have had the stats.
Yeah.
Whereas Wade was sharing his numbers with LeBron and with Shaq and a lot of other guys where Carmelo was.
Where Melo would be thrown up to like a number 2, I think easier because of his stats. That's just my.
Yeah. Especially, again, to finish all those spots. To do it, 10 times, you got to be someone that's played for a long time. Both of them played 15 plus. Well, Melo's still playing, and I just can't think of anyone else. Everyone else is coming to mind at least snuck in one MVP award, like a Kevin Garnett, like a Tim Duncan. Yeah, I'd probably lean Melo as well. We'll check in for 100 points with Carmelo Anthony.
All right, and Yohan Santana, what did you guys have?
This one was all Ian, so I'm going to let him take this.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of people who have been in the league for a long time and would have been at the top of their game for a long time. And it's like Josh said, and like Scott said, it's just hard because a lot of these people did win one MVP. Like KD won one MVP, James Harden won one MVP, Dirk won an MVP.
Westbrook, yeah.
Exactly. So the name we ended up checking in with was Chris Paul for 100 points.
And once again, one team is receiving points. Yes, the answer is Chris Paul. And he did it with 4 different teams, and he has been remarkably consistent. So there are only a handful of guys who have finished in the top 10 times since 2000. Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Kobe, Tim Duncan, but every one of them won an MVP. And when I went to look, and I was like, how is it possible that Chris Paul's never won? And then I thought this would make a great question, because I noticed that he had finished second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh in different years. And I just thought that was pretty incredible. So let's make sure both teams wagered 100 on that one, correct?
Correct.
And I just want to make sure, We Heart Jessica Alba, you wagered 100 on the last question as well, correct?
Yeah, the wheels are really falling off.
Yeah,
here.
I don't like this anymore. I don't like this game anymore.
You're not mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Okay, question 3, Lucky Star. Who is the only player who can claim all of the following on his resume? Olympic gold medalist, Hobie Baker Award, and a Stanley Cup victory. In addition to all of that, he's the first American-born player to have a 100-point season.
We're going to check in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba has checked in. Johan Santana, talk it out for about another minute.
So this one, I think, hits me a little more in my small hockey wheelhouse. Like I said, I think this actually goes back. So when you're talking about the Olympic gold and Hobie Baker winner and all that good stuff, I think the answer is Neil Broughton, who won a Hobie Baker when he played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. He was on the 80 Olympic team. I think he did end up winning a Stanley Cup. It might have been later in his career because he didn't win one with the North Stars. But so yeah, I think the answer is Neil Broughton. You good with that?
Yep.
All right, we're going to check in with Neil Broughton for 90 points.
Okay, and Johan Santana, what you guys have?
Adam, have you ever heard of this Neil Bratwurst character?
He sounds delicious.
I don't even know who this guy is, so I don't
even. I'm a hockey guy. I don't even know what a Hobie Baker Award is. So
that's some college thing.
Get to
Best
that.
College player.
Hobie Baker is like
college hockey. You, David. This game.
That's what Asher Roth said. No, he loved college.
Jeez, Adam, you're going to be whistled all over the place.
I know. That's
our pent up frustration.
Yeah, it's the pent up frustration because we've lost this game.
What is Neil? Whatever.
Vince
Neil? Did you say Vince Neil?
Vince Neil Broughton. Yeah. So basically, what I'm learning is that any question about Neil, you guys are toast.
I know 2 Neils, Vince Neil and Neil Fisher, and if it ain't one of them,
can we get your answer, please?
Yeah. What was it? Oh yeah. Well,
Mike Madonna.
Yeah,
It's not Mike Madonna, but we said Mike Madonna.
When you think Star, you said Lucky Star, and I was like, Madonna's the only person I know that played for them, so that's what we're going with when we don't know it, and that's what we went with when we didn't know it.
For how many points?
100.
All the points.
Well, one team is receiving points. And yes, my category was Lucky Star. Neil Broughton played for a long time for Minnesota, and then he played for Dallas, and he eventually won a Stanley Cup with the Devils, I think. But that was towards the end of his career, although I think he did hit the score the game-winning goal. The Hobie Baker is like the Heisman Trophy for college hockey.
Okay.
It's actually relatively rare that a guy is that successful after playing in U.S. college, because so many of them come from Canada. Obviously, they're playing in juniors and all that stuff. So anyway, yes. So Neil Broughton, and he was on the 1980 Olympic hockey team. Josh hit all the key points. So
that was just, you threw that one like right into my wheelhouse.
I can't even be mad that he did. Because
that's good.
He did a wrestling question for me, albeit there was I would have liked an alternate question for this one, but.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was the first American-born player to score 100 points, but I knew he won the Hobie Baker, won the gold medal. He played for the North Stars, so it was like all the things.
Too much of it adds up.
And he won a Stanley Cup, so it's
I've got my Venmo open. Who?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And inside baseball, real quick, that I thought Matt was going to be on, and I was purposely planning to put Matt and Josh on separate teams because I figured they would run with this one. So unfortunately, the game has gotten away from us a little bit here, but we have chances for a moral victory for We Are Jessica Alba.
You mean by not getting 0? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You can't get 0.
Well, yeah, exactly.
This is the kind of question that David writes that I hope Scott likes. So we'll see what happens. Question number 4. This used to be my playground. So, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. There have been several number 1 overall pick quarterbacks who have won the Super Bowl. Elway, both Mannings, Terry Bradshaw, etc. But who are the only 2 quarterbacks who were taken number 1 overall and won Super Bowl rings, but only as backups?
We're checked in.
All right. We Heart Jessica Alba is checked in. Johan Santana. You have about a minute.
We're not going to talk this out. I just
Okay.
didn't want them to talk it out because then I felt like they might talk themselves into it. We're not going to finish with 0 either way, Adam. So
Yeah.
congrats. At least you're not going to have that on your resume. If this goes further back than where I think it is, then I wouldn't have known it anyway because who cares? But I know one is Drew Bledsoe. I asked a question about the last 5 guys drafted number 1 to win a Super Bowl with the team they were drafted by, and he was in it. So I know one's Drew Bledsoe, and I know David Carr backed up Eli Manning on the Giants for several years. Don't know if it was during either of their Super Bowl years, but I'm just hoping it was. So we checked in with Drew Bledsoe and David Carr for 100 points.
All right. And Johan Santana should be a Hall of Famer. What did you guys have?
We got to those same 2. I asked Ian, I said, because I thought Carr was a backup and I thought it was maybe with the Giants. And
Oh, yeah.
when I asked that, Ian's like, oh, yep. And then we were thinking a little longer. And then we got to Drew Bledsoe, and I was trying to remember, was he, because I know he got injured, and it's like, did he come back? Was he back for the
He did come
playoffs? And I
back.
thought he was back for the playoffs. So we also said Carr and Bledsoe for 100.
Well done. And I'm glad both teams got there, and both teams will be receiving their 100 points. Yeah, that's exactly right. So David Carr sort of flamed out, and he ended up going to the Giants, and he was a backup for a long time for Eli Manning, and Drew Bledsoe, of course, backed up Tom Brady. He had played in a Super Bowl earlier, but the Patriots didn't win. So yes, and both were number 1 overall picks, of course. So well done to both teams.
I mean, to be fair, I think a lot of quarterbacks would have a hard time excelling when they got sacked as much as David Carr got sacked at the beginning of his career. So, flaming out, I think he got just,
No, he got beat up.
He got beat up.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That guy never had a chance.
No.
Okay. Well, our game has mercifully come to an end. And here are the final scores. We Heart Jessica Alba was doing great until the wheels fell off, and they ended up with 220 points. Still respectable for getting the last question. And our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted David Carr Award with 805 points, is Johan Santana, should be a Hall of Famer. Well done to both teams. Anything you guys want to talk about before we call it a night? And by the way, that was an audible. It was going to be the Drew Bledsoe Award, but I figured since Ian won, we should make it the David Carr Award. So there you go. I changed the award at the last minute. Ian or Adam, why don't you guys go first? Anything you guys want to say before we call it a night?
I'll jump in first so Ian can have the last word. He is the winner of the night. He is well deserved. Thank you guys for having me. I was a last minute addition, and I really appreciate having you guys I really appreciate being on. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying it the other way around because I am the host of too many podcasts, but I'm not going to mention them again because just go back in reverse and listen to the beginning of this podcast. Start it from the top. It's that fantastic of a show. I love Benchwarmers. Even though I suck at it, I love this show. So thank you guys for having me.
I'll say it since he didn't, because I said it at the beginning of the show. Go listen to Blast from Our Past. Go listen to Throwback Trivia Takedown. I love it. I suck at it, but I love it. So go back and listen to that. Thank you for being a last minute addition, Adam, and for teaming with me. This was a fun game.
That was a pleasure, sir.
We came out of the box real. Yeah. We're like that flamethrower pitcher who is perfect through like 4 innings, right? Second time around the lineup. Nope, just starts giving up home runs. That's exactly what we did in this game. We were perfect until halftime and did not do much after that. So, but either way, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's a pleasure teaming with you. Glad I could lead you to your first loss. Ian, glad I could help you to your first win. I'm good for something on this podcast. So that's
well done. That was perfect. Ian, how about you?
Yeah, thank you for having me. This was so much fun. It's been too long. And Josh, thank you for carrying me through.
Don't even. You were the all-star tonight.
But you knew Bratwurst. So
okay, I knew Neil Broughton, and I had enough other things to get you there. But you had some that you fired over to me right away. So no, you were the all-star tonight, sir.
All right. I'm just glad I picked up my first win, and I'm glad that the Mets question didn't cost me the win. So all good. Looking forward to coming back soon. See if I can get myself to 500.
Yeah, for sure. I always welcome back both of you. Yeah. So Adam and Ian, I want to thank you both for your support for the podcast.
David, you're not going to let me say anything.
Sorry. I thought you did already. Go ahead, Josh. No,
I just jumped in to just correct him saying that I carry him.
All right, go ahead, Josh. I don't need to say anything at all. Go ahead.
I'm impressed because I'm not a slight guy, but Ian definitely, he carried me. I picked up a couple answers along the way, but for the most part, he carried me to to the win today. I want to thank both Adam and Ian. Thank you guys for being patrons, part of our team. We really appreciate that. I know that anytime people are willing to throw a few bucks our way to help us with our costs, we really appreciate that. So thank you guys. And thank you to all the other patrons out there. And if anybody else wants to support us, you can find us on Patreon. But also, those of you who maybe can't afford to, that's all right. Thank you for listening. We've been doing this for a little over 2 years now. Isn't that kind of crazy? It's been a little over 2 years. And I'm still as excited as I was from the very beginning, and seeing the participation on the bench and all that good stuff. Just, we can't thank everybody who's hearing our voices. Like, why would you want to listen to any of our voices? Except maybe Scott when he sings, because it's better than my singing voice, trust me. But yeah, thank you everybody. It's just I'm just in one of those moods tonight, so a win helps make me feel all
Josh has the warm and fuzzies here at the end, guys.
I do see, I don't get emotional often, but after a win I will.
Ian's his quarterback.
Josh is cracking open the champagne and pouring over his own head right now to celebrate the win. Yeah, that's why I didn't want Josh to go, because he now has stolen all my thunder and said everything I was going to say. So yeah, but I do want to second that, especially to Adam and Ian for coming on the show, making it a great time. This was a ton of fun. Thanks for indulging me with my questions. Sometimes the questions go off the rails before the answers do sometimes. So thanks for hanging in there. I appreciate that. And to all of our listeners, right, I'll echo what Josh said. It's fun to do this. Please contact us if you want to come on the show, even if you don't give us money. We just pay attention to the people who give us money first, but anybody can come on the show. So with that, I'll thank everybody for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch. Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at BenchwarmersTP.